Warning, the following conversation features fierce women, once high school acquaintances, now friends, who talk about real topics that most people either try to avoid or pretend don't exist. In here, it can get messy, but it's always the truth. Welcome to the Messy Truth.
Okay, so hey, acquaintances.
Hello.
Friends. Maureen, Jen, how are you guys?
Good.
Yeah.
Great.
Jen,
Happy Sunday. Can I say that? Happy Sunday?
you can say happy Sunday.
Yeah.
Why? Yeah. And Jen's
Yeah.
outside showing us all up with her nice, beautiful backyard
Although it's
Totally
just pretty,
jealous.
it's spring. I love it. So
and the natural lighting. So we're finally starting this thing that Maureen and I started talking about almost 2 years ago, right, Maureen?
Yes. Yes.
So Maureen and Jen, I don't know if you even know the background on this, Jen.
no, I don't at all.
Okay. So I don't even know why we reconnected, Maureen. Do you know why?
You reached out to me on Facebook and asked me a question about some post I had put on Facebook, and we started talking about it.
Okay.
And then I think we started talking about, I don't know, that somehow it came from there, and we started talking about a group and getting women together. And
Yeah.
then
Well, yeah. So Jen, I invited Maureen to my old house. We sat by the pool. I think there were like 2 nights. We had one. Maureen brought like a nice bottle of wine and like her whole little Tupperware of, like, you had cheese and crackers, like kind of like a whole spread. And I was just like, I just needed the wine. But we were there till dark talking about this plan that Maureen wanted to do. And I was like totally on board when I heard it. I was like, I would love to do that. And it was just all about getting a group of women together. This is obviously pre-COVID, getting a group of women together where we could talk about real issues that most people don't really want to talk about, and be real, but most importantly, be supportive and encouraging. That was the big thing with you, Maureen. Do you remember?
Yeah, I think I was going through a really bad breakup, and I was thinking how great it is when you're talking to other women, or even if I was reading other women's blogs at the time, because I was looking to heal myself, and it just felt so encouraging to read or talk to other women that had similar feelings or had gone through similar situations.
Right.
And to connect with them, right? So you don't feel like you're going nuts.
Yeah. And now that you're saying that, I remember, because I was in the process of knowing that I wanted to get separated, like I wanted to leave. And I ran a lot of my thoughts by you, like, is this normal? Is this normal? Like, did you do that? And you're like, totally normal. Yeah. Yeah. And
Right.
I remember it being validating for me just to have that. So I can imagine, like, a lot of women who go through that sort of thing deal with that sort of thing. And then, so we talked about that, and it got obviously put on hold. And I don't know what prompted us to start thinking about doing it this way. Maybe because when the pandemic happened, we had that Zoom meeting, the girls' Zoom night, and Jen was in on that. And Jen and I talk a lot on the phone. Jen's like my go-to when I'm having a rough day. I call her and I'm like, can you help me? And she'll me, and vice versa. And so,
Becky has heard a lot from me, especially.
I heard a lot
ago.
yesterday. And so we got Jen in on this. So tonight, we decided that the first topic we would talk about is mind clutter, or as Maureen likes to call it,
mind chatter.
Mind chatter. Yeah. So, all right, our thought was like we'd talk about what's your mind clutter? Like, let's get real, because this is really the messy truth, right?
Yeah.
So who's going to get messy first?
You going, Jen? Go ahead.
Sure.
Yeah.
I don't know how specific you want to get, but as I was thinking about this,
very specific.
As she zooms in.
Sometimes for me, depending on the gravity of the situation that might be going on, and something enters my mind, I go to worst case scenario. And it
there. Yeah.
Worst case scenario, and like the what ifs. I feel like they're connected oftentimes. What if and then it's the worst case scenario. So I start out with the whole, what if I die? What if I have this? What if I have that? What, what if this happens? What if that happens? And that whole, it comes from fear. I think at the end of the day, obviously comes from fear, but that's a biggie for me at times, especially if in my mind, I've created it into something maybe bigger than it should be.
Mhm.
And then I find that the more I think about it, the bigger it becomes. And that's really tough. But yeah, it's the what ifs and worst case scenario.
Okay.
That's one of mine.
I'm sorry. I'm going to cut you right off, Maureen, because I just have to show you guys, when I was thinking about this, I came up with the list, right? I mean, you can't see the list. I'm not going to show it to you, but it starts off with like the small things and then the moderate things and then extreme things and then the beyond extreme things. But Jenn, my beyond extreme things is entertaining. I don't just think worst case scenario, I entertain worst case scenario thoughts. Like,
What do you mean?
Like I'm not, when I say entertain, I don't mean like I enjoy it, but my brain can't stop it. So like, for instance, you guys know I live by West Point. So I drive over Storm King Mountain a lot to go over to get my kids or see them or see the rest of my family. And Storm King Mountain is a pretty scary, dangerous mountain. I call it the scary mountain. And
yeah, it is.
There is not a time I drive over the mountain where I don't envision at the one turn, I don't envision my car going off and hitting the railing and going down into the embankment and no one else is around to see it. They didn't see me. And so my car's tumbling and I'm like left there paralyzed. How long is it going to take somebody to realize that a car went over the mountain and how long will I survive in the car? And like that, I like take it to the next level. Like I play the whole scenario out.
Did you always do that? Do you think that gets worse as you get older? Or is that something that you have always that you can always remember doing?
No, I haven't always done that. And so I'm gonna say having been married to a person who was an alcoholic for so many years, in order to survive, you have to prepare yourself for what could be the worst case scenario.
Oh, right.
So I learned how to do that in order to just be prepared. And it didn't always happen, but I wanted to be prepared for it just in case.
Right.
I think you guys all know, like I had my first mammogram. I'm supposed to get tested for breast cancer every 6 months because I'm high risk. Well, COVID, I haven't been tested in a year and a half. And I just got tested like a week and a half or 2 weeks ago. And I was freaking out about it. And then when they came out and said, like, we have to do more, we see something in there. And then I walk in the room and I see the image of my breast up there. I can see the dark spot. And right away, it's like worst case scenario. Like, it's like what Brene Brown says, the stories we tell ourselves.
Yeah.
It's like, so I'm telling myself the story, okay, I have breast cancer. And I wasn't even thinking like, I'm going to lose my hair. Like, this is going to be painful, chemo. My mind went right to my kids. Like, how is it going to be for my kids to have a mom who's sick, to have a mom who is not physically able to be there for them because I'm sick? What happens if I die? Like, how are my kids going to cope with not having me in their life? Like, it just was like that. Like, so when you say worst case scenario, Jenn, like you just brought it right down to my bottom line. Like, that's where
Sorry, maybe I should have started lighter at the top.
We can start worse and move our way back up. So, but I'm curious about Maureen's.
Oh, I feel like, I don't know, sometimes it's hard to recall what you really do. Well, for me, I guess I'm saying you, but I'm talking about me. I guess it's hard for me to recall anything recent that I might spiral into. So I'm going to start with like when you're talking about going over the mountain and thinking about the whole thing going overboard. What if I drove over and all this happened? I don't know what this is. I've noticed actually since my divorce. So I separated about 6 years ago. I think I lose track of time now. So maybe separated about 6 years ago. I'm not sure, in there, maybe 3 years ago, I got officially divorced. Maybe it's 4, I don't know. But since the separation, I've noticed stuff like when I'm driving, I used to drive down to Jersey at night on 17. I go anywhere, right? In my 20s. But I noticed after, and not be afraid. Now, if I'm not driving, it's usually in certain situations, if I feel very pinned against the wall, or if I'm driving over the mountain, I start having a little bit of panic attack. Almost to the point where I feel like if I don't pull over, I'm going to get in an accident. And I envision myself yanking the wheel and just going over the side of the mountain. I mean, like, not that I ever want to commit suicide, not in that aspect.
Yeah.
At all.
Yeah.
But just like, I've had some weird stuff, but that's not, I don't feel like that's really what we're talking about right now. That's probably some mental illness I have. I don't know. I don't know. And that's not normal.
The way Jen says she goes there, I definitely go there. Part of me wonders, like, if that's a mom thing too.
Yeah.
You know,
maybe. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, that, but more mind chatter for me. When I've gone, I feel like I'd had a lot of crazy mind chatter, that's ended recently. It was during my divorce, during a bad breakup I had, where my mind just won't stop, and your mind is trying to find, I feel like trying to find a resolution, trying to find a resolution for why you feel so horrible inside. And so my mind will keep spinning and spinning and spinning about why this happened and why that happened. What if I did this, or what if this happened? And playing scenarios out over and over and over again, like exhausting, just exhausting in my head. That's horrible mind chatter. And it, like you said, Brene Brown, where like you tell yourself stories that really don't exist.
right.
Like, so if something's going on, which I really hate this mind chatter, to say something's going on with my daughter, and I reach out to her father, and he's remarried. And so I feel like they have a different take on how things should be handled with my daughter. And they didn't say that to me. I feel that that's true though, but I make up this whole scenario of what they're thinking and what they're saying, right? About what kind of mother I am and what I did or didn't do. Like, I hate that my mind chatter. Like, I hate that. And then I start like doubting myself, and did I do this right? And then I have to go talk to my mom, and I have to talk to Carl, and what do you think that's right? Am I doing the right thing? You just start doubting yourself. I hate that mind chatter. That's like the worst. What's that?
That's the worst. And it's funny that you say that, because I'll start to spin. Am I doing the right thing?
Yeah.
Am I not doing it? Like, and it boils down to should I do it this way? Should I do it that way? Am I doing it right? Am I doing it the right way? Am I doing the right thing? What if I don't do the right thing?
Yeah.
And it feeds on itself.
What is the right thing?
It's a good question. Right.
And, well, another piece that I picked up with what you said, Maureen, which I can relate, I actually have it written down here, is you're basically talking about other people's perceptions of you.
Yes.
About their perception of you. That's definitely something that I have. Like today, you guys know I went to a baby baptism, and I think I walked in maybe 6 minutes late to the church service. And as I'm walking in, I'm like, oh, I wonder what they're thinking about me, what everybody's like thinking. I mean, nobody even noticed that I walked into the back late. Nobody cared. But on my way in there, it's like, you're a bad person. You couldn't even get here like 6 minutes earlier to get here on time. And, like, I don't know about you guys, but I'm like a crazy picky eater. So when I order, like, from the waiter or waitress, I feel like a real bitch sometimes because I'm like, this on the side, don't do this. It has to be cooked all the way. Like, and if they bring it, I'm like, nope, I'm sorry, you got to send that back. It's got to be cooked. Like, I don't eat raw meat, and like, but while I'm doing that, I'm like, am I being a bitch? And is that coming across bitchy, and like just worrying about like, and these are people I don't even know. And I'm worried, I'm concerned. I'm like, my brain is being filled with space about what their perception of me is.
And I was just going to say, all the time that we waste, that we could be focusing on things that would be so much more beneficial or productive, and we fill our mind with this clutter or chatter that brings us to places that we don't need to be.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It's
but sometimes it's good. But that's where, like, when you guys were saying mind clutter, I feel like, and I was saying chatter, I feel like some mind chatter is okay, and it helps me stay on task. In my head, I have a running list of things going that I want to complete for the day, and it helps me stay on task. Like, I'm sure our minds are never stop talking to us. They're like always going and going. But it's when we're faced with certain things that the conversation in our head turns into negative talk is such a horrible, exhausting, painful thing.
It's funny that you say that, because I'm just thinking to myself, I don't think my mind chatter is telling me bad things about myself. But
well, yes, it is, because you just said, am I a bitch, or what are they thinking about me?
About other people having a perception of me that is not really know me to be, So like, I'm like, I want you to know, like, no, I'm really a nice person. I just need my food to be cooked.
Just cook it right.
Just cook it, damn it. Bring it out here right. But like I'll tell you an example, and I don't care. This is going to be really specific, and whoever like listens to this, I don't really give a shit if this bothers you. Okay. And you know who you are.
Excuse me. Oh boy.
Maybe about a month ago, I was having a rough night. I was really upset about something. I had a friend come over. I was completely drunk. Like, I'm sorry, Mom. I hope to God my mom doesn't watch this, but I was completely just drunk. Like, and I also took a medicine that probably didn't help with the being drunk. But I was sad. The person knew I was sad. They knew I was sad, and it was a male friend from childhood. Like nothing there at all. Just friends.
Yeah.
And while I was drunk, he put a heart shape in my rug, and he goes, when you wake up tomorrow morning, you're going to see this heart shape in your rug, and hopefully it'll make you smile and you won't be sad anymore. And I got sick, and he left, and I went up to bed. And then the next morning I came down and I saw the heart shape in my rug, and I took a picture of it because it made me smile. And well, Becky decided to put it up on Facebook because I thought it was.
Yeah, I seen that.
I thought it was sweet. I was like,
yeah.
And my comment was, good friends will draw a heart shape in your rug to make you smile in the morning when you had a rough night.
Yeah.
Okay, ladies, do you know how that was interpreted by that person's 2 ex-wives?
2 ex-wives.
They're exes.
One ex.
Who cares?
One ex-wife who was my friend for the longest time, right?
They're exes.
And who we just recently kind of reconnected, and then another one that's about to be an ex-wife. But this person and I were just friends. Like, I even said it to the current person. Oh my God.
Well, let me say this. Well, I don't know what the women's relationship was with you or is with you currently, but if I was getting divorces are messy. Divorces are messy.
The person who had a problem with it has been divorced from this person for 12 years.
Well, that's weird. That's weird. Okay, so that one I can't
And
speak to.
he's already remarried.
Right. Oh, well, that's really weird.
Like,
But the
she's
current
calling
one.
me and accusing me, and I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Like, and I'm trying to stay calm. I'm trying to stay respectful. I'm like, listen. She's like, what is going on with you and so and so? And I'm like, absolutely nothing, nothing.
We're just getting drunk.
Yeah,
We're just getting drunk and drawing hearts in the
is
carpet.
nothing ever will be, but that was not enough. I'm like, why do you care? Anyway.
Yeah.
So did all of that start to spin in your head?
It did. It's so now I'm like, when I post stuff, I'm like, how is this coming across to other people? Are people going to make assumptions about me and what I'm doing based
No,
on
I think it was only those two people because I thought it was cute.
it was it was
But yeah.
Yes, crazy stuff like that can make you spin.
Yeah,
And
thank you for bringing it back, Jen.
no, no.
but anyway, that's an example of like,
Yes.
you know, whatever their mind chatter wasn't letting go. And
Yeah.
I'm telling you, it bothered me for about 2
Yeah.
weeks. I couldn't let it go.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Oh, gosh.
You know?
Yes. The mind chatter that doesn't let it go.
Go. I know.
I hate that.
And what bothered me about it was
Ugh.
goes back to people's perceptions of me. Like I guess because I have a strong need to be known for who
Yeah.
I am, right? And what bothered me is this person was a friend of mine for 15 years. And I wanted to I wish I had the chance to say, do you trust your perception of that stupid picture, or do you trust the person you know me to be?
Mm.
And she clearly trusted her perception of a stupid freaking picture and what
Right.
she
Well,
believed it to be.
Well, that was just her insecurities and her mind chatter that overruled.
Common sense.
Right.
Right. It was ridiculous.
Right.
Anyway, I'm glad I said that.
Yeah. Do you feel better now?
I do feel better now. She's blocked anyway. She'll never see this.
But I like where you were going with that though, that mind chatter, that you can't let something go, because that I feel like that is happening to me right now. And it is happening to me with people that shouldn't make a difference about in my life at all. I shouldn't care. We really shouldn't care mostly what people are thinking, as long as we know that we're doing the correct thing. You know, as long as you have good intentions with whatever you're doing, we shouldn't worry about what somebody's perception is of us. I mean,
Be more specific about that, what you mean, like what is not,
Yeah.
what are you not letting
oh, you want me to spill my guts and be messy truthful about it? No. Meaning, like with this situation, it's getting really dark. I'm lit up in here, right? Am I dark?
I see you.
Yeah,
Oh,
we can
okay.
see you fine.
All right. So like in this situation with Rebecca and her father and his wife, I, for some reason, worry. I don't even know if worry is the correct word that I want to use, but I focus so much on what they're thinking of what kind of mother I am. Even though I haven't heard them say that they don't think I'm doing the right thing. But sometimes you kind of just know, or you get little hints of it. But I haven't heard the message from their mouth. But I keep playing these scenarios in my head, and my poor husband or my mother has to hear me talk about it all the time. Now, this is not something that happens, you know, that's been happening constantly over and over and over, and it just doesn't ever stop. It's almost like you have peaks and valleys of certain things that surface that you think you dealt with, and then all of a sudden it comes forefront again. And obviously it's still, you know, there.
Yeah.
So that I hate that mind chatter. I hate that mind chatter or clutter of you know, worrying. What are they thinking? And then it, like, I'm kind of circling back to what we already said. And for me, it leads into, am I doing the right thing? Am I making the right choices? And then you start doubting yourself.
Right. And like being a good mom, that's on my list. Like, how am I as a mom? And I'm going to stop because I'm like, I can talk forever. I'm going to stop. I'm going to let Jenn say stuff because I know you have stuff to say on this one.
Oh, this one's tough. I actually wanted to bring up another point too, if we can get to it before the end of this. We can at some point come back. Yeah. And actually this might also tie in a little bit with, am I being a good mom and all that? Sometimes when I'm faced with something, I'm like, I have to fix it right now. Like I have to do, like, it's got to get done right now.
Yep.
That's so hard. Cause I have to like, okay, let life play it out. Like I can't fix it right now, especially if I'm lying in bed at 2:00 in the morning and it pops up and I'm like, oh, I can't fix it right now at this moment. Am I insane? I'm in bed. Like nothing's going to happen. Let it go. And some of that does creep in with the whole, you know, am I a good mom? Am I doing the right thing? Am I modeling the right family circumstances with them? What kind of baggage? Oh my gosh.
Oh gosh.
Like I'll cry. If I really like, you know, like what kind of, like, are they going to have baggage because of me?
Oh God. Jenn,
like, you know, and granted,
yeah,
everybody does, because it's life.
Yeah.
It's messy. It's true. Sometimes it haunts me. And that's that hamster wheel that can become so unhealthy.
Yeah.
And you just got to just shut it down.
Yeah.
And forget those lies, because there's so many lies that are in the brain, and it will just, you know, feed.
Yeah.
So I got to stop that. And so I always try to remember, okay, wait, I'm not raising them in a cave. They're not being raised by wolves. I tell them I love them. I hug them incessantly. You know, I tell them to brush their teeth and do the right thing. You know, so I'm like, all right, I'm at least getting the basics.
Yeah.
So at a minimum, they should walk out of here pretty good.
Yeah. I like that.
That's how I stop it. It was when I say, okay, they're not being raised by wolves. They know that I love them. Like they know it. And that to me, it's great if I think in my head, oh, I love my kids. I make sure I try to speak their love languages. I'm a quality time chick. So I'm kind of like, let's go for a drive in the car. Let's, you know, do something together. Let's go get Starbucks. Those sorts of things. I'm making sure. The other one, she likes gifts, fancy gifts. And I'm like, all right, let's go do this. I'll buy you this and whatnot. So I really try to like hone in on where they feel most loved, not just in how I want to give it to them. And so that I can avoid them leaving the house with excessive baggage.
Yeah. Yep. I hear you loud and clear.
One, because that's also on my list. Like, have I ruined my kids?
Yeah. Oh gosh. Yeah.
With my decision.
Yes.
And go my own way.
Excuse me.
Not live the life I was living. Like, I actually said to my daughter the other day, we were FaceTiming, and I actually like got up the courage to just tell her, like, I'm sorry. I'm not able to give you a normal family, an intact normal family. Like, I feel like a failure that I can't do that. And, you know, I mean, what kids don't want their parents to stay together, right? But, you know, luckily she was being gracious and she said, you know, normal is overrated. And it is overrated.
And but also too, staying together at what cost?
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
At the end of the day,
what would like in my mind, like since I've been gone for 5 months now, and I had to be the one to move out. And it is a sickening, I don't show this to my kids, but it is a sick feeling in the pit of your stomach to drop your kids off, or my son, because my daughter's 20, she doesn't really want to have anything to do with either one of us, but to drop my 14-year-old son off at home and drive away. You know, normally in divorces, it's the mom who gets to stay with the kids, you know, but because of my situation, it's not my house. So I don't get to stay there. And it's a horrible feeling. Like, am I screwing him up by this? But like, would I screw him up more if we just stayed in the dysfunction?
Yeah.
Right.
And there's no easy answer to that. It's just like time will tell.
Yeah.
You know? And then people say, you have to be the best version of you. You have to love you. You have to take care of you. And I spent my whole life like, no, I never put me first. I learned very early on, having a terminally ill older brother, to put my other people's needs before my own. And I'm not complaining about that, because his needs were more important than my own. I learned that very, very early on, but it does feel selfish to like, no, I gotta do what I have to do to get healthy right now, because I haven't been for a very long time, you know.
Mhm.
And I hope one day my kids will be like, yeah, you did the right thing. But
Yeah.
you know, I
You
don't.
know, when they'll think that, I think when they start having life experiences,
Yep.
where they're faced hopefully with not the same things that maybe we all have gone through, and they'll learn lessons from watching what we did, and hopefully not make those same mistakes, but they're going to make their own. And when they start living life, or life starts happening to them in that regard, they're gonna look back and say, wow, I get it,
Yeah,
you know. But that's hard,
yeah,
because you always try to be better. You don't, when you think about getting married or going to have children, you think, I'm not going to make these mistakes, and I'm going to do it perfect. And so my children are going to not deal with those horrible things. And like Jen said, you know, what kind of baggage am I laying on my kids? What are they going to how many bags are they going to walk out of the house with,
mhm,
you know, when they leave?
yeah,
So that's hard.
exactly.
That's really hard. And then when life starts happening I have to go turn my light on. Hold on. When life starts happening, and uh, life starts happening and things are happening to us, and you have to start making decisions for your own well-being. And that's scary. You start seeing, oh my gosh, this is going to affect my kids.
Yeah.
And then you start weighing your options, what's going to affect them worse. And then it's a spiral, and the mind chatter and the mind clutter go with all of that, you
Yeah,
know.
it just beats you up, really. It just
Yes.
beats you up.
Yep.
That's probably the mind chatter that stays with me the longest, that just kind of torments me every single day. Like,
Right.
are you a bad mom? Are you fucking up your kids by doing
Yeah.
this?
Yeah.
You know, or is this going to be in their best interest? I don't know. It remains
Right.
to be seen, but I know that I can't do that anymore, you know.
Yeah.
But
I remember crying to my aunt one time when I was going through some things. This was not in regards to um, my daughter, but just going through divorce, and when all the skeletons that you didn't realize you had, or any dark shadow that was been lingering, comes up and out, and you have to start dealing with it. I remember crying in my mind, going, saying, when is it going to stop? When is it going to stop? Because it's so horrible, that the mind, the talking,
yeah,
it's hard to
I
shut it
actually
off.
said to my mom right before we got on, I was on the phone with my mom, and I actually said to her, like, can I just catch a break here? Like, it's just
Yeah.
one thing after the next, you know? And it's just like,
Right.
geez, is this just like a universal joke? You know, like
Right.
my
It
life.
feels like that
Yeah,
sometimes.
sometimes it does, you know.
Yeah.
But before,
So
I know
say,
we're probably running out of time. I really don't know. But Jen, you said you wanted to get to something.
No, it was the fix it. Like that will go through my head. Okay, this is a problem. I gotta fix it. I gotta fix it now.
oh,
That's
right.
a mind chatter that I have to deal with, and I have to shut that down, because that'll spin it. I circle the drain, circle the drain.
Yeah. Talking about fixing it, and I'm not sure when we're over time or when we're not, where we're gonna make cuts of how long we're talking here. But what about fixing it? Like how do we stop our mind chatter? Like, what do you do to say, to realize that your mind is going haywire or is on a rampage? First, I think we have to realize, you know, you come to a point where your mind's going and going, and you say, oh my gosh, here I go again, I'm spiraling. Like, what do you do to stop that mind chatter and to redirect it.
And that, I think, is the perfect place to stop, because they say you should always end on a cliffhanger.
Yeah.
Because that's part 3 of this series, is what do we do to get our chatter under control, to declutter our minds. But part 2, which is coming up next week, is the effects. You're going to be surprised, the effects. Like, I don't know if you guys did any reading, but the effects that this mind clutter, this mind chatter has on your body physically.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Oh yeah.
I'm living it.
Yeah. So we'll talk about that next week, but this was a good first conversation. Like, I feel like it was good. I feel like
Yeah.
it was a little cathartic for me, because I said a couple of things that just made me feel really good. Just get it out there. But
Good. It was great.
I speak my mind. I don't really care. Anyway.
And nor should you.
I
No.
usually speak my mind too. What I try not to do is to put anything. I've made some horrible mistakes in the past and use social media as an outlet. And I'm not talking about when I would write about my divorce or things like that. That's different. But I've always have good intentions, right? When you do something, and I've not had some good intentions when I was going a little bit crazy and put stuff on social media. So I don't know where I was going with this. I had a thought and it just went in a different direction. Oh, when Becky said cathartic about saying some things out there, I get very nervous. Like, even just speaking about Rebecca's dad and his wife, like, those are kind of like private things. And like, and even for them, if somebody came across this and they like listened to this, I would be like, man, I don't want them to know that I'm thinking that, but oh well, it's out there. Yep, you're affecting me.
What you said is,
I'm allowing you to affect me.
the good part of what you said is, nothing you said made anyone look bad.
No. Oh, no.
Thoughts.
I
So
wouldn't do that.
We don't want to do that. We don't want to purposely
No.
make anyone look bad or call anyone out. Although, like, later on, I'm going to tell you the name of the person. I'm not kidding. I really am going to tell you the name of the person. Not that it matters. You don't know the person anyway. But anyway, I think this is a good place to stop, and we'll pick it up with the effects that this has on our brains and our bodies and our mental well-beings next week.
Oh,
But it was so good to see you guys.
yeah, you too.
In a couple minutes when we record part 2.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
All right. We'll see ya.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.